What? Welcome back to another edition of a hybrid episode of Traits Triumph and a quick convo with Dad. The dual member of both shows, Brian, has us here with his father, Brian Sr. And we are here, myself and SportsFan, the members of Traits Triumph, alongside Brian Jr., to give a quick analysis of week one of the NFL season, hoping to make some bold predictions, some picks against the spread, also discussing the biggest trade in recent NFL memory as Micah Parsons is traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers. So we have a lot to discuss, and we're going to just jump right into it. Before we get started, how's everybody's evening going? We're recording this pretty late, so hopefully everybody had a good day at work, good day of and hopefully they get some good rest after we're done with this. But how's everybody doing today?
Guess I go first. I have no complaints. I'm having a good day. Good day at work. Was able to go to the gym, and now I'm able to talk ball with the fellas. So, what's really to complain about?
I was just going to say I'm good as well. I just thank you, gentlemen, for letting me hang out with you again.
It's been too long. It's been too
Been too
long.
long. Long overdue.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while. Yeah, doing good, feeling good. Just glad we've gotten to this point. Hopefully, we can breeze through this. You know what I'm saying? And keep it as entertaining as possible as we always do.
All right, so we're going to start off with the Micah Parsons trade that occurred probably just about a week ago. I don't have the exact date, but just about a week from the day we're recording this, Micah Parsons was traded to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, the defensive tackle. We're going to go to SportsFan first because he's been very passionate about how he feels about this trade, how he feels about the Cowboys' decision-making, as most NFL fans are in general, especially people who are not fans of the Cowboys. So SportsFan, how you feeling about, one, Micah Parsons' fit with the Packers, and I'm assuming the much longer topic will be the decision-making that the Dallas Cowboys continue to make?
Yeah, for the Packers, I feel like this leads them into that tier with the Eagles as like real Super Bowl contenders. They've been kind of hovering around that second tier with maybe like probably for the trade with the Commanders, probably. Then you have maybe they were like step below the Lions, probably in the same tier as the Vikings and that. But now when you have a defensive playmaker on the D line like Michael Parsons, this is, I know it's been easy to make the Reggie White comparison just due to how both of their careers started and how they're both Packers now. But I really believe Michael Parsons has that type of impact. Uh, I mean, you can use any advanced stat you want: pass win rate, PFF grade, EPA, per play. When Micah's on the field for the for the Cowboys for the last 3 to 4 years, they've been the number one defense, and when he's now on the field, they've been the worst. So that's a very, very stark difference just based on one player being on and off the field. It was even visible last year. Micah was kind of like a one-man run crew in that defense that really didn't have a lot of players left towards the end. So for the Packers, I think it puts them in a good situation to kind of pair up with Rashawn Gary and trying to remember who else, Deontay Wyatt and Adrian Cooper. I like that linebacker. Quay Walker's kind of mid, but he probably make up some plays that Devin White used to do back in the day. So similar type of skill set there. And then you still got All-Pro Xavier McKinney, former Giant in the back end, and then there's some questions at the corner position. But when you have Rashawn Gary, Michael Parsons, I feel like things will be better than what people think. So for the Packers, I feel really good about them. Now for Jerry Jones and what he's done over the past, let's say 5 to 6 months now, whenever he had that conversation with Micah that he supposedly agreed to a contract with, I'm not sure how I'm going to call Jerry the GM because that I guess is technically his title. He's probably the fakest GM in sports, but I'll call him the GM. He apparently had a conversation with Micah and he feels like they agreed to a contract. How do you not have the agent involved in that conversation? I'm not sure. at any point, and then you completely disregard the agent, basically publicly disrespect them. Disrespect Micah also. Disrespect also current players that's also signed to the team already, and Trayvon Diggs and others. So I'm not really sure what type of locker room Jay's trying to build for his brand new head coach that he promoted from within. It's just a lot of questions, and a lot of people will say, "Well, good on Jerry for not bending the knee to, Micah and his agent." I'm not sure what type of banner you get for not bending the knee. I thought the Cowboys were big on winning championships and all that other stuff. I thought that's what the documentary that came out said, but maybe the goal is, I don't know. I was so sure this is when Jerry did that interview with Stephen A. Smith. I was so sure this is going to lead in with him doing a day before today. Honestly, I thought today was the day we're gonna get the Micah Parsons trade news, and we're just going to get the contract details, and we're going to be like, wow, Jerry, drew all the attention for no reason. But no, he really was that stubborn and did what many thought he couldn't do, and traded for a 30-year-old run-stopping D tackle, had his worst year last year, and he was injured. And he gave 2 first-round picks from a team who hasn't picked higher than 20, I believe, or maybe higher than 18, and since maybe before A-Rod played for the Packers as a starter, I want to say, or maybe real early in that tenure. So it's been a very, very long time. Not only that, the Packers head coach, if you look at his win-loss record, one of the best starts for any coach of all time. So I'm not exactly sure what Jerry thinks those picks will be. They won't be high. Maybe he's counting the Cowboys pick. They will be probably very high because that's not a good team. So overall, I mean, the last thing I'm gonna say, I know I've been kind of talking for a minute. I just had a lot on my mind to think about, especially the last few days. They say the main 3 things like a front office should do in pretty much any sport, but especially football. Because it's not like the basketball where free agency kind of is. Football is a lot of you draft, you develop, you pay your guys. And it seems like Jerry didn't get that memo. Since CD, he hasn't drafted well. Outside of Darren Bland and Trayvon Diggs, he don't develop well. And when he got a Hall of Fame talent, Micah Parsons, he don't pay him. So, once again, I think the goal is just, have cool Thanksgiving games and take the national media spotlight and, get blown out in the playoffs. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs, honestly. But if they make the playoffs, they're going to get blown out for sure because it's the worst defense I've seen on paper. There are some teams that I don't even know. I like the Titans better. At least they have the corner from the Chiefs, and they still got
Jeffrey Simmons up the middle.
Jeffrey Simmons up the middle. Jeffrey Simmons is way better than Kenny Clark, and that's no disrespect to Kenny Clark. So I just don't know. I'll let you guys have the floor, but it's Jerry just. I just feel bad for Cowboys fans. Unfortunately, they will feel no relief from this until Jerry retires forcibly by his age. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. As a Commanders fan, I was very happy with this deal. Give you all a quick story. I went to Commanders training camp for I want to say maybe a month ago. I believe it was August 6th. And I was able to speak with this reporter who my dad knows. So we was talking about the recent trade request because I think this was around the time that Terry had requested his trade, and I think Micah requested his trade. I don't remember who did what first, but the reporter was saying that he felt like the Terry stuff would get sorted out. It was just coming down to the contract money, contract language, which we saw once Terry signed that the agent initial report made it seem like it was for $30 million, but in reality, the deal was really $29 million. So that's probably really what Adam Peters and co were trying to sort through. But he said now down in Dallas, he said that request was real. Even after talking to him, this is somebody my dad knows. I don't really know him that well. He's not really this big time reporter, but even after hearing that, it was like, nah, the Cowboys are still going to get the deal done because we've seen the same story from them so many different times over the past few years. Whether it was with Dak Prescott, they still got the deal done at the last minute. CD, they got the deal done. Um, and so it was like, there's just another year where the Cowboys are just playing hardball and they're going to end up resetting the edge market, which everybody expected. Like Brian was saying in the group chat for the past month, like I think he kept saying September 2nd is going to get done, September 2nd, because everything just seemed like the regular old NFL trade request where they're just using it as a tactic to get more money. But in actuality, Micah Parsons was very upset. Jerry Jones was very set in his ways, and that led to it being a actual standoff. And it led to Dallas trading the second best edge rusher, who's 26 years old, in the prime of his career, to a conference opponent. Very interesting decision, to say the least. As a Commanders fan, once again, very happy because I no longer have to worry about Jaden Daniels being attacked by Micah Parsons twice a year. We do play them once this year. But outside of the playoffs, hopefully, and the next, I think we play the Packers once every 4 years. So, salute to Micah. I no longer have to worry about him every week of the season or worry about the looming potential of facing him every other week of the season. And he can go be an NFL great in the NFC North and terrorize those quarterbacks. So for me, I love it. Cowboys fans, I've really seen the initial hate, and then you're really starting to see the cope. A lot of people are saying, oh, he's not even that good of a run defender. He doesn't show up in playoff games, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, my goodness, you guys were just so adamant on paying him. And when the trade initially happened, you were mad at Jerry Jones because he didn't do what you wanted him to do. But now, because they're so, I call it, when you're here, I call it Ashburn syndrome. When you're in Dallas, I don't know what the syndrome is there, but they're all bought into whatever Jerry Jones is selling them. And they believe whatever he's telling them. And I guess they think Kenny Clark is who's going to be the fix to their playoff woes, if they can even make the playoffs this year. But like SportsFan said, that defense looks pretty bad on paper, even considering Kenny Clark, because he's not the Pro Bowl level talent that he was eons ago. That roster is a bunch of names put together that a lot of you people may have never heard of. I don't remember who that slot cornerback name was, but we sent that name to the group chat. It was like, who is this man? Never heard of him a day in our life. And there's a few players in that defensive rotation that a lot of casual fans, diehard fans, may have never heard of. So it'll be a very interesting year for the Cowboys. Wishing the absolute worst, and hopefully things continue to go this way until Jerry's ultimate retirement.
I actually have one more thought. Actually, two. It clicked in my head when the Mingles was talking about the reporter he was talking to at the camp. It clicked in my head. Speaking of camp, good on Micah for still showing up and practicing, because he really shouldn't have practiced. He kind of saw some practice with a back injury that people thought was like a fake back injury. Now people know he's really hurt. Like, he really has a serious back injury. Well, I'm not gonna say serious. I think he plans to play this week, but still, good on him for actually practicing and stuff like that. But it also clicked in my head. Speaking of, you said he's the second best edge rusher. The first best edge rusher, who a lot of people believe is Myles Garrett, he got paid this summer. And then the other one that he's kind of not as good as people might think he is, T.J. Watt. He's still a good edge rusher, but he's not in that top class no more to me. He also got paid. And Jerry watched that and said he didn't even increase the contract value from the original one he talked about with Micah back in March. And that's just the type of guy Jerry is. And I'm going to leave the floor up to y'all again.
Let's not forget Trey Hendrickson also getting.
I want to say, even the Bengals
signed.
Yes,
even Trey Henderson got paid. And that's
actually an edge rusher who's not good against the run. That's actually somebody who was a run game liability, but he still got paid. Let Cowboys fans tell it. Micah Parsons wasn't worth the money because he had 2 mediocre playoff games, I'm sure, where he was the offensive focus, where they was probably focused on making sure that he didn't wreck the game, because there's not much else to write home about on the Dallas defense. But Brian Senior, we'll pass it to you for this because I'm sure we've set our part on the Cowboys.
I would just say you gentlemen are, as I said before, very astute and hilarious at the same time. Um, what I told Mr. Brian, Mr. Butler Jr. when this happened is, I said, and what in the world? I didn't say the other stuff I would usually say, but to echo everybody's point as a Commander fan, I won't say I'm overjoyed, just kind of disappointed because now it's just I feel sorry for Dallas, and I shouldn't feel sorry for Dallas as a Commanders fan, but I really feel sorry for them because now we know that Jerry is just about the dollar. Okay, don't continue to say we won championships and we're going to win. No, you're not, Jerry. Say I own my franchise is worth the most. I'm worth $16 billion, and it's wonderful. And I like talking about myself, and I like the fact that people talk about it, and I give them something to talk about every week. So for the next 18 weeks, you will get to hear Jerry once again, as I told Brian before, moonwalk like Michael Jackson. Every time something happens, when something happens on the defense, because we got a run stopper now. So Michael Parsons wasn't a run stopper. He was just a defensive person. No, he was a person, as you gentlemen said. You can move him around. You had the game plan for him. And yeah, he might not have been great against the run, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad. But yeah, as I said, everything that there is to say, as I told Brian, it's just about the money, and I just wish he would say about the money now. I haven't even watched the Netflix documentary Brian has and his mother has. I don't even know why my wife wanted to watch that. I'm like, I can't watch that. I can't. For two reasons: as a Commanders fan, as a person who is lying to my face that he's talking about winning a championship. You're not. You're not. You're about the money, and that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, just to put a quick bow on this. For the Packers side, kind of like Jalen said, I think that this elevates them, but I still have the Lions still as like if we were to do division predictions, I would still have the Lions as my division winner right now. But I think as long as Jordan Love stays healthy, I would think that Green Bay will be right there on the whole season. For the Dallas side, I mean, we've kind of all spoken about it. Like Chris said, I kept saying September 2nd because as we all thought, it just felt like it was Jerry just trying to. It was just Jerry knowing that they were going to talk about him every day, and then it was going to be like, bam, we're going to sign Micah, and then just like they did with CD and Dak, as Chris said earlier. Um, I figured if that didn't happen and Michael was really staunch about getting paid, I thought it might just end up turning into like an Emmitt Smith situation where you probably lose to Dallas. I mean, not lose to you lose to Philly first week, and then if you lose to the Giants, then everybody feels like the sky is falling. So then you pay Micah, and then he's back on the field. So that's what I thought was going to happen. The trade was the last thing I was thinking about.
Chris Jones did that last year.
Yeah, he did hold out, didn't he?
I think he missed that first game.
Yeah, he
got
did.
paid, and he came back.
Yeah, he was sitting in the press box. I remember this.
He was sitting in the stands like he was a fan.
Yeah, so that's what I thought it was gonna be. So yeah, the trade was the last thing that surprised me. I knew it had to be serious because I got like 2 different alerts on my phone before I checked the group chat. So that's how I figured it was real. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun to see Kenny Clark and Dallas try to stop the run this week against Saquon and Jalen Hurts and the rest of the crew, and as my dad said, see how Jerry Jones is gonna moonwalk out of that one.
I gotta
tomorrow's game.
say, Jerry Jones had some real guts, and I don't mean in a positive way. Some real guts to do that interview the day of that trade to say he did the trade to help stop against the run. I just can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
And it's not only that he says that. I already know Jerry's not senile. He's not writing a hit. But the fact that the fans, not all fans, the Brian that we know, that's a Cowboys fan, he didn't fall for how's that something? He didn't fall for that, that one. But there's some real Cowboys fans that are like, wow, we can finally stop the run now. Now we can, win games. And I'm like, I don't know who you think is stopping the pass, or what do you think is more valuable, stopping the pass or the run? But I guess they'll find out. I wish them luck. I don't think they're going to stop the run well. So, because Mozzie Smith, he sucks. And the other D tackle, I don't want to mispronounce his name. I want to say it's Osa.
Oh,
He's not
Digizua.
yeah, he's not a run stuffer. So, I don't know. It's questionable at best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, y'all want to keep talking about Micah or move on? The one thing I do want to say is in regard to the Cowboys, I had said like you don't really expect them you don't really expect them to really trade their young star because of recent history, but you go back and realize that this is really a Jerry consistency that goes back decades and decades. And as a younger because I'm not young anymore, but as a 20-something-year-old fan of the Cowboys, you may not realize that this is something that was happening 30 years ago, 40 years ago, with the players like you said, Emmitt Smith, where he was playing hardball. And so at some point, there's going to be somebody who really just wants their money to the point where they're actually not going to sign because of how Jerry went about things. And so it's just it's very fitting that this is probably one of the best players he's ever had. And now he is really choosing to not even talk to the agent. And so the fact that he didn't talk to the agent with this best player and was so set in his ways, and now he decided to, you know what, we don't need you because you can't stop the run. It's very Jerry Jones-like thing to do. But very happy it occurred. But we can move on. We can move on past Jerry. We can move towards the brighter side of things, in which somebody who actually signed their contract with their team, the Washington Commanders, locked down their franchise receiver for the next, well, technically 4 seasons, including this season. Terry McLaurin signing, I believe, what was reported initially as a 3 years, 96. It's really 3 years, 87, and that AAV gets even lower once you incorporate this year's 19 mil. So good deal for both sides, I feel like. I believe the incentives Terry can reach, so I think they're realistic incentives. And so I think it's a good deal. Commanders needed to make sure that they maintain that offense as best they could, maintain the consistency, maintain what they had in the room. Because you start taking away too many pieces, you never know how long Kingsbury may be there. You lose your number one receiver. You relying on Debo for a season or 2 seasons. You don't want to change things up too much for a young quarterback. And you have an all-pro level wide receiver who just was, if he didn't lead or top 3 in the league in touchdowns, very smart decision to keep Terry around. And very happy with the outcome. Felt like I knew it was going to happen, but the longer it lingered, the more nervous I was becoming with in regard to him potentially signing. But I think we're going to toss this to Mr. Bryan Sr. first and work our way around.
Thank you for that. I, like yourself, knew it was about to figure in the money. As I told my son, I think what it was never going to be about him making what Metcalf was making. It was about how much guaranteed money can I get, and making sure the number when it, as you said, 3 years, 36 million, 30 years, 96 million. We knew that when you saw the division, it divided to 32, but we know after you take out guaranteed money and, as you said, the money for the current year, he's around Michael Evans level, maybe a little above. He's going to stay in the 20s. It looks nice on paper, but in the signing bonus looks nice on paper. It's, not so much in signing. You just want to make sure the number looks pretty, and make sure you want this all about the guaranteed money. So I'm like you. I'm glad they got him signed. Especially before the season, we don't want any, because pretty much they've probably been practicing all season, unbeknownst to us. That's just mine as an older gentleman. Because they knew each other so well, it just was going to take them 1 or 2 practices to get themselves back in rhythm. So last 2 weeks, I'm sure they're fine. I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't be surprised if like the first 2 plays of the game go to Terry. just for the simple fact that okay, we fine. So there you go. But we will see. But yeah, I'm like you. Little concerned. It's getting close. But it's basically it was all about that guaranteed money. I think that was all they were haggling on. But once they got the guaranteed money and the incentives to a point where yeah, I can hit that, make money. Yeah, the rest of it, we know it's just fucked up numbers. We know you're not making 32 million. And anybody that's like, oh, he's making 32 million. He's making almost as much as DK Metcalf. No, he's not. No, he's not. So just saying that.
As a fan, I'm not the type of fan, at least not currently, to where I feel like I am penny watching the player. I understand Terry for holding out completely, especially since the Steelers gave DK that contract. But I do understand both sides of things. I understand the Commanders not really wanting to dole out that type of money because Terry is not DK's age. So I understand both sides. I'm not one of those Commanders fans who were starting to turn against Terry towards the before he ended up signing because they felt like he was asking for too much money. I'm like, any other person in any other career, if you feel like you're not making enough money and you have an opportunity to advocate for yourself, I feel like you're well in your right to do so. But as again, the organization or i.e. your employer has also the opportunity to say, well, the other people in this demographic or in your same demographic are making XYZ, and so we're trying to pay you XYZ. So I can understand both sides of things. But I've always been pro Terry, and I've always wanted Terry on the field as a commander. And so to allude to your point that you said, making sure that he's ramped up and um, getting things right for this season, since he did miss so much time of training camp. I did hear that during his holdout, a lot of the time, since he was still local, him and Jaden were getting some time in the bubble, the practice bubble. Um, of course, that's just quarterback to receiver. It wasn't a live defense, and he wasn't in the offensive flow of things. But it still shows the potential leadership of Jaden Daniels and still the leadership of Terry to still realize, hey, even though things aren't going well with me on the contract front, I still need to be able to be ready whenever things do get worked out. Because I feel like he knew that things were going to get worked out. That trade request, he can say that it was real. I think everybody knows. He knows that that was just a negotiated tactic. And just being able to stay prepared for the season as best as he could at that point in time.
Yeah. As far as the Terry on my side as a Giants fan, I figured it was gonna get done. Throughout the whole season, I know as it was getting closer and closer, there were obviously Washington fans that were worried, but just from a timing standpoint, obviously I had a feeling he'd be on the field, so it wasn't too worried about that. As you guys have said, I mean him and Jaden's chemistry is pretty solid, so I don't think there's going to be too much missed there. Also, as we talked about in the previous segment, this is a pure draft. This is a pure example of draft, develop, and resign. So Terry asking for the money that he did, at least initially, I felt like it was just for my psychology people, it was a door in the face tactic. Like that was the money he was asking for, but but then he came back. He obviously come back to the table with the amount that you're really willing to ask for. And it just was a situation where I think, like you said, he knew he was going to get paid the whole time. So, and another thing I think that we've seen as over these last couple of years has been a lot more hold ins instead of holdouts. So people still, at least in the building, getting to still develop chemistry with the teammates and things like that. So that way, it's a little bit easier for them to ramp up. At least from because they'll already be there from a mental standpoint, essentially getting mental reps and things of that nature. So then at that point, it's just about translating it back to the field. So yeah, excited to see what Terry does this season. And again, I think Washington did a good job here of showing the locker room, hey, as long as you produce and you do what need to be done, there may be some difficult negotiations, but we're going to take care of you in the end. And I think that's this is a big win for Adam Peters and for Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. I have not as many thoughts about this. as compared to the Micah Parsons one. This is kind of straightforward. Everybody's kind of said from both sides, you kind of get both, perspectives on why one didn't want to pay exactly what DK got. Even though Terry's a better player than DK Metcalf at just playing wide receiver, DK runs faster. But outside of that, at the end of the day, the Commanders knew that if they want to, where they want to go and what they want to do while Jaden's still cheap, paying Terry McLaurin had to happen. Now, I'll be honest, they actually paid him earlier than I thought. I thought he was going to drag it out way to the end. So I'm glad they got it done so you get a full week of practice. With the team. It was definitely much needed. Division rival coming up and all that. But I think, Terry gets kind of what he wants, that, average per year number, that guaranteed money, at least, correct me if I'm wrong, is that out after the second year? Where he can get up, technically. So,
after, I believe it's after the second year of the extension. So that would be after
year 3.
3 years from now, yeah. But I would hope that as a legacy player, it's just a rework or something like not. I don't want to see Terry play on any other team. Me personally, just for all the leadership, the great performances he's had with us. So I'm hoping that this is something that can be a long-term thing, and he's not just gone after the 4th year or the 3rd year of the contract. But I think it's a good deal for the team. Maybe Terry could have got a better deal, but I don't really know if he had any leverage in this situation, honestly. So all things considered, I think best case scenario for both sides as much as possible. And since it's an incentive-laden contract, he may be able to get some of the money that he was hoping for anyway. And so that's it on Terry. I think we got to move on to week 1 predictions, Brian.
Yes, sir. So
you take the lead on that one, sir.
Yep. So this is, as we know, week 1 is very, very quickly approaching. As of this is being recorded on September 3rd, at 10 p.m. So anything that happens afterward, obviously, is what it is. But as we know, we have a game coming up in less than 24 hours. But the way we're gonna do the week 1 predictions, I'm gonna name the matchup. I'm gonna give the spread. The spread is gonna be based on FanDuel. So if you're using any alternate sites and there's a different spread, that's fine. Just letting y'all know this is strictly from FanDuel for anybody that may be inquiring. So we'll give the team that we believe is going to win the matchup first, and then we will give who we think will cover the spread. So for the first matchup, we have obviously the Cowboys and the Eagles. And we will start with Jalen for his prediction.
Yeah, that one. What was the number?
Oh, my fault. The spread is Philly minus 8.5.
Okay, I want to know what it increased to, because last time I checked, it was 7.5. I knew it was going to increase more. Even still with that, I'm gonna make it quick. I think the Eagles they should handle business pretty easily. A team that's still building through the run, still has Saquon, fresh off, I guess, a documentary apparently, produced by Martin Scorsese. But I know, crazy. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I'm assuming they roll here. Now I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys somehow do a backdoor cover at the end, just because Dak is infamous for his garbage time stats, and as a CD owner in multiple leagues, I won't complain. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles, and they cover that spread.
CT.
I have the Eagles covering the spread. But when he said a Dallas backdoor cover, I feel the opposite. I feel like it's gonna be Eagles. They start pulling ahead towards the end of the game. Not to say they aren't really in control of most of the game, but maybe it's a 1-possession game for most of the game. Then they get a last-minute touchdown, and then Dallas isn't able to cover that spread right back. So I think maybe Eagles 27-17, 30-20, some variation. The Eagles win by 10+. for me. Basically the same team. Only concern I really have with the Eagles is that secondary, but that was the main concern last year, and they were able to figure it out. So I'm a believer in Vic Fangio's ability to scheme up things, especially with really only one true weakness at the corner position is Adoree Jackson, and he's at least still a decent enough athlete to where if Vic Fangio wants to go into that cover two or that quarters defense, Adoree Jackson should be able to be a man. So I think the Eagles should be able to cover that spread. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Eagles 8.5.
All right, Father.
Okay, well, I'll keep it all together. Basically, when Cowboys cover because they're a division rival.
So for me, I'm kind of on the same wavelength as Jalen. I believe that the Eagles win, and I do believe that they cover as well. But I could see a potential Cowboys backdoor if because I do think they'll be in garbage time, kind of as Jalen said earlier. I have right now my score prediction is 31-20, but I could very easily see them making it like 31-26 or 31-27. So I still have the Eagles covering, but that's one of those. Do they get another? Do they get 2 late touchdowns, or do they just get 1 type situation? For me. Okay. So we will move to the Friday game. We will do the Chiefs and the Chargers. We'll start with spread is Kansas City -3. We will start with the Mahomes fan and CT.
-3, not -3.5. It's just -3.
It is -3.
Oh man. Chiefs down a few pass catchers. They're getting old. In Brazil, but I still got them. I got the Chiefs. And if you would have said -3.5, I might have picked the Chargers to cover that spread, but -3 just makes that game too close. For me, that's like a 2-point, 1-point win. That's like almost you winning on a field goal. I think the Chiefs are going to win the game, maybe like 28-24 or something like that. Maybe the Chargers aren't able to string together a last-minute drive.
All right, so I'm kind of on the same wave as you right there, CT, because I think my final score right now is 20-16. So I do have the Chiefs winning and covering the spread, barely, but yeah, this is one of those tricky ones that I probably wouldn't bet just because it is right on 3. Dad, we'll try you again.
Okay, so I'm gonna go quick again. I will pick the Chargers straight up, win, and cover.
It's interesting.
-3. It's in Brazil. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. They're kind of used to these type of primetime games, and they usually handle the business. While I like the Chargers and I like Harbaugh and I like Herbert, still that defense overachieved last year based on what it is on paper, and I'm expecting something similar. So later in the year though, but not versus the Chiefs. I'm not even sure what's the last time the Chiefs lost to the Chargers. I feel like it's been a minute.
I don't think they've done it since in the Herbert era.
Yeah, no, I don't think it starts Friday. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. They still have Andy Reid, still have Spags. Won't overthink this one. I think the Chiefs win and they cover.
Okay. All right. Now we will move to the local game and the Giants versus the Commanders. The Commanders have a 5.5 point spread right now. We'll go to Dad first to start this one.
So I'm lagging. I'm going to do mine very quickly. Commanders to win and Commanders to cover.
Okay. All right. CT?
The Commanders better win. And I don't want to do 28-24 again, but that's just what feels right. So I'm going to say 28-24, and I'm going to say the Giants cover that 5.5.
Jalen?
Spread is 5.5. I'm gonna go with the Commanders. Also believe they cover. I'm not gonna do no score predictions because I tried that before. It didn't work out so well for me. So I'm just gonna say the Commanders cover. I still believe they got the best quarterback in the matchup. Now, I believe the Giants' defense will be much improved compared to what it was last year. I don't think it's going to be improved as much to really offset what Russell Wilson's going to do. And, well, everybody will see what he does. I'm going to go with the Commanders.
Yeah, this game kind of gives to me kind of like that Washington and Pittsburgh feel from last year. Ironically, with Russell Wilson as the quarterback. But like CT, I think that this is a hard fought, a little bit closer to a low scoring game. I have it at 24-20. So I have the Commanders winning, but I have the Giants covering the spread. All right. The next matchup is the Panthers and the Jaguars. We have the Jaguars -3.5. We'll go to Jalen here.
You said Jaguars and who?
Jaguars and Panthers. Jaguars -3.5.
Lord, this game actually sucks. It's low-key tough. I like the Panthers, what they're trying to build. But I'm going to have faith in Liam Cohen and Travis Hunter and not Trevor Lawrence, but Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker. Sneaky has been better. He's not been worth what he's picked, but he's been a better player. I kind of like what they're building there. I'm going to go with the Jags. Jags home team?
Yes.
I'm assuming? Okay, yeah, I'm going to go with the Jags.
You have them covering as well?
Yeah, I might as well. If I'm going to pick them as a 3.5, I'm going to go and say they cover.
Okay. Dad.
Jags to win, Panthers to cover. Even at 3.5.
Okay. For me, I have the Jaguars winning and covering. That score I have at 23-17. Jaguars. CT.
Remind me of the spread.
-3.5 Jaguars.
A betting man says to put that money on the Panthers to cover that spread and potentially put money on the Panthers to win the game. My logic says, though, first of all, these are two teams who weren't good last year. So it's a very difficult decision here. Betting wise, I would put money on the Panthers to cover the spread. But logically, the Jaguars almost have to win this. Trevor Lawrence, actually not the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence almost has to win this for the hopes of his future as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm going to go with the Jaguars potentially pulling off the Week 1 victory. But if I was to bet, I'll pick the Panthers to cover the spread and win the game.
Okay.
It's my official prediction that you can list down on that spreadsheet, Jaguars.
Okay, so Jaguars to win. Jaguars to win, but Panthers to cover, or
let's go with 20-17 Jaguars.
Okay, so Panthers do cover there. All right. All right. So now we move to a matchup of essentially a quarterback swap in the Steelers and the Jets.
PU.
All right, sorry. We'll start with CT. The spread is the Steelers -2.5.
Give me the Jets. Just Week 1 is always the hardest week to predict. A lot of upsets, a lot of teams that should win that don't, a lot of teams that shouldn't win who win their one game of the season and don't win another game for the rest of the year. Not saying that's going to be the Jets, but I think the Jets can win this game. I like the Jets defense. I like their head coach. He seems pretty intense. Offensively, you probably just got to hope that you score 13 and the Steelers score 10. And I think that's a realistic possibility. I think the Jets should be able to rely on the running backs and the running quarterback that they have and maybe hit on one or two good passes to Garrett Wilson. And I think that can get you 13 points somehow, some way. So I'm going to go with the Jets 13-10.
Jalen?
It's another one of them games. I really don't like either offenses, so I'm going to take the better head coach with, I believe, the better defense with Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, and Jalen Ramsey. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I'm a known Justin Fields non-believer, and all he's done is prove me right so far. So I'm going to continue to believe that. I'm going to go with the Steelers. It would probably be a close game. What was the spread again?
-2.5.
Oh, okay. The Steelers probably still covered that. They won by 3 and they ended up covering that. So, yeah, man, I just don't believe Justin Fields versus that defense is going to look very well. So I'm going to go with the Steelers.
All right. Like Jalen, I have the Steelers winning and covering the spread. Like CT, I guess my score wasn't low enough because I have it as 21-18 as the final score. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Chris Boswell kicks 7 field goals. But I just think, kind of to Jalen's point, I think that Aaron Rodgers, even at his advanced age, I think he's the better quarterback on the field, and I just think they make enough plays to win. And then TJ Watt does TJ Watt things, and they find a way to win. And if you're going to continue the winning season streak going, it's probably best to win week 1 if you want to at least go 9-8. Yeah. So Pittsburgh to win and cover. Yeah.
Saying Pittsburgh win and cover.
Next game we have the Raiders and the Patriots. The Patriots it's the Patriots -2.5. We'll start with Jalen.
Patriots the home team, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Even still, maybe I overvalue Gino.
We've been having issues.
Yeah,
that was from way further back.
Wait, I'll say okay, but it's like I'm gonna go with the Raiders. Honestly, I believe in Drake May. I believe in Mike Vrabel. I do not believe in the Patriots front office. They basically blew a whole draft last year. That draft is basically cooked. There's some names. There's some names like Milton Williams that they paid highly. Carlton Davis. They got Christian Gonzalez. They hit on that pick, but they cut their kind of team leader safety just like a few days ago randomly. I didn't hear an explanation on that. Last time I checked, they was trying to trade Kyle Duggar. I'm assuming he has to start now. Not sure what's going to happen there. And then there's some questions about, is Rondre Stevenson the lead back? Is it the other guys? Stephon Diggs is the wrong side of 30 after like an ACL tear. So there's more question marks than people will have you believe. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I like Brock Bowers. I like Genty. I like Gino. I like Pete Carroll. And I believe in Chip Kelly in the offense. And defensively, I'm just going to hope Max Crosby wrecks havoc. And I believe he's capable of doing that. So I'm going to go with the Raiders. And they cover that spread.
All right, Dad.
I have the Raiders to win and as well.
Okay. I'm on the same road trip. I'm on the same wavelength as y'all. Like Jalen, I believe in Gino and Pete Carroll. I also think that the questionable weapons in New England is going to lead it to be a situation where they ask Drake May to win the game. And while I think Drake is capable of doing that, it's just I don't see it happening in this game, especially with the situation like Stephon Diggs, as Jalen talked about being hobbled and things of that nature. So just the lack of weapons is what's keeping me from picking the Patriots. So I take the Raiders over the Patriots. 17-16 is my score. So I have the Raiders winning and covering the spread.
You know, when you first posed the question, I was leaning Raiders, but since I'm the last person to go, and everybody else picked the Raiders, I don't know if this is a unanimous level game. So I'm going to go with the Patriots. I'm going to go with them also, since I'm picking them. Might as well rely on my Drake May propaganda and go Patriots. Good Drake May performance. Give them like 24 points. To the Raiders, I think Gino plays decently, but maybe they struggle a bit in the red zone. Kick a few field goals, only score 16 points. 24-16 Patriots.
Okay. All right, so we will move on to Jalen's team, who gets to play the New Orleans Saints this week.
New Orleans Saints. Sorry.
This guy here.
So the Cardinals are spotted at 6.5 right now. I'll go ahead and start it. I have the Cardinals, whether it's 26-16, 26-9, 26-10, whichever score prediction you want to use. Cardinals win and cover. I mean, I don't think this is too much to talk about here. Jalen, you can take it away.
I mean, if we lose, it kind of is what it is. It will be a Cardinals game to lose, honestly, but I expect us to be serious this year. I guess we'll see after a few weeks if we're serious or not. But I'm going to take the Cardinals, and we're probably going to cover that spread. If it turns into an Oklahoma Sooner shootout with Spencer Rattler and Kyler Murray, then it is what it is on that end. But I'm going to take the Cardinals covering the spread. Just feel like we're just a better team, better coach unit. I think the Saints have a better. Never mind. Chase Young got hurt. I don't even know what they have a better at this point. No, it's pretty bad.
Cam Jordan and prayers.
Yeah, it's not looking too good. And my dog Honey Badger retired. Shout out Honey Badger, man.
For this game specifically, I will pick the Cardinals. I did chuckle a little bit when SportsFan said they're going to be serious this year. That was pretty funny. But I do think the Cardinals, just because the Saints are so bad, I think any other team in the league, I probably would have considered picking them. But the Saints, they might be historically garbage this year. They might actually go 0-17. I think there was a TikToker a couple years ago who made a Saints are going to go 0-16 or 0-17 video. And they ended up not being that bad. I think this is the year where the Saints might actually go 0-17. And you really look at their division, the Panthers are better than them. Not the Cardinals. The Buccaneers are better than them. And the Falcons are better than them. There's a very realistic chance that the Saints go 0-17. I'll look at their schedule after this, but they suck. And this might be their closest game of the season. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals winning. What was the spread? 5.5, 6.5?
-6.5.
6.5.
You know what? Cardinals 26-20. Saints cover. Don't put your money on that, though. Actually, no. Saints cover the spread. Today only. Yeah.
Today only, you can win $200,000.
Half shame.
Like you said, though, it's a Cardinals game to lose, so it's a Cardinals game to keep close. But I think the Cardinals should win.
Yeah. All right, Father.
All right, this will be a little long, so hopefully you'll catch some of this in the delay. Cardinals to win and cover the spread. If the Cardinals even let this be a close game, there is a problem in Arizona. Thank you.
There ain't no delay on that one.
That's what I'm about to say. I guess we had to wait till we got to Arizona.
Yeah, everybody locks in when it's time to talk bad about Arizona. That's what happens.
All right, well, we're gonna try to get through this quick because we got
Talking bad about them. I'm just saying because you guys have said New Orleans is bad. I mean, bad. It shouldn't be. This shouldn't be close. We should be like trying to figure out who are you going to try to get to be your quarterback. Is what they should be trying to figure out in New Orleans.
Hey man, Garrett Nussmeier.
Right down the street. Right down the street.
The Cardinals going to be looking at him, too.
That's funny. That's funny. There hasn't been a season where Kyle has played the whole year where he's even been in a situation for that. So, I don't know. If Kyle get hurt, I mean, anything's possible. So.
Well, speaking of a team that may be looking for a quarterback next season, we have the Bengals and the Browns. The Bengals are -5.5.
Ooh, 5. That's it?
Yeah, start with CT. -5.5.
Oh, nah. I got the Bengals. This joint might be the Browns got a decent defense, but that Bengals offense. Oh, but the Bengals defense. But it's week 1 Joe Flacco. Yeah, give me the Bengals. The Browns decent, but 24-10 Bengals.
I had a slightly higher score.
I feel like that's slightly generous, but I'm just respecting Myles Garrett as a man.
I get what you say, CT. Now I may have been even more generous in my score prediction just because I do think the Bengals defense is still going to be bad, even with Shamar Stewart and Dre Henderson being on the field. So my final score is 31-23, but obviously that's the Bengals still winning and covering. Let's go to Dad.
I'm going to surprise everyone. I've got the Bengals to win, but the Browns to cover, just because it's once again a division game.
Speaking of in trouble, if the Bengals lose this one, boy, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna honestly, this low key the type of game the Bengals will lose.
If the Bengals lose this, I'm firing the coach right after the game.
Man, I don't know why, but I think the Bengals win, but I think the Browns cover the spread, dog.
All right, so you and Dad are in alignment.
I don't know why, but this is the type of game the Bengals keep close. Jerry Jeudy go off for 150 a touchdown or something crazy. I wouldn't be shocked.
Speaking of funny games, we have the Dolphins and the Colts. The Colts are -1.5. We will start with Jalen.
The Dolphins are only 1.5 in that game?
The Colts are -1.5, but yes.
The Colts are favorite?
Yes, the Colts are favored -1.5.
They must think Anthony Richardson's starting.
Nah, if he was starting, they wouldn't be favorite, dog.
No. He was winning.
I think I'm assuming it's only because they.
Doesn't he have a winning?
Anthony Richardson was winning games.
Doesn't he have a winning record as a starting quarterback?
Then ask yourself, why is he the backup right? You think about that. Don't answer. Answer. Don't let the audience know your thoughts. Save yourself.
I don't know.
Save yourself. You do know. You saying you don't know makes it look bad. You know.
I don't know.
If this sounds crazy to say, if Tua plays from start to finish, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I just believe, honestly, when Tua has played, they've been looking like a pretty decent offense. The defense is pretty it's pretty ass, lack for a better term. But the other team either has Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson starting, so it don't really matter. So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
So we'll go to CT.
I think there's a reason why the Colts are favored, and I believe it's because Miami's starting cornerbacks are SportsFan, Brian Jr. and Brian Sr.
But even with Storm Duck.
Even with that being said, even though my three co-hosts are this Dolphins starting cornerbacks, I still think they're going to somehow win because Daniel Jones has shown in his career with the Giants and in the preseason with the Colts that accuracy issues prevail. He misses the open targets so frequently, and he misses the layup throws. And I think he'll do that again with the Colts. And so I'm taking the Dolphins. 24.
The way you just described that, do you say he missed open throws and he missed the layups?
Yeah, but at the same time, he's not 6'5", 250.
Oh, it don't look appealing in a uniform. Oh.
No, see, you always figure it out. And he don't got 99 throw power. You always
90. No, AR throw that ball hard shit into the ground. He do.
That's better than what Daniel Jones do. He throw it to the other team.
Daniel Jones would have played up.
Anthony Richardson would have too, but he has a winning record overall.
Now you're not speaking in reality.
So overall winning record, but yeah, I got the Dolphins winning this game. The Colts defense is nothing to write home about. They're decent, but so I'm gonna say Dolphins. I'm gonna say a Tyreek Hill. I need a Tyreek Hill big game. 31-16 Dolphins.
So I have it on the closer side. I do have the Dolphins winning and covering. I think that this is going to be one of those games where, like, when it's time for Red Zone to do the winning hour, like, it'll just be on right before the 4:00 game because it's that close. But I think Miami wins 23-20. Like Christian, for my dynasty team, I'm hoping that Tyreek Hill has a great season because he's going to be one of my X factors. So, yeah, shout out to Tyreek. But I have the Dolphins winning and covering. And follow with the last prediction.
I'm going to go against everybody. I'm taking the Colts, and I'm taking them to cover.
Picking Daniel Jones. That is bold.
It's the first game of the season. As you guys said earlier, the first week is the hardest week to pick.
You are correct there. All right, so now we move to another divisional game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Atlanta Falcons. The Buccaneers are -1.5. We will start with start with Chris, since he has some investment in this game.
Who the Buccaneers play?
The Falcons. Bucks -1.5. They are in Atlanta, if that means anything.
I need this to be a shootout. Oh my goodness. Let's go with I'm going with the Buccaneers because I always ride with my dog Baker Mayfield. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers and I'm gonna go 34-28. It's a classic week 1 game. 34-28. Buccaneers. They cover. Drake London has 3 touchdowns or something like that. But it's not enough. And Bijan fumbles or whoever I'm playing against doesn't play well. But Buccaneers pull it out and beat the Falcons week 1.
No Kyle Pitts scores?
I don't have Kyle Pitts, so no. Sorry. Sorry, no.
All right.
Only
Dad.
people on the score.
All right, Dad, who do you have?
Much as I like the Buccaneers, I'm going to take the Falcons because they're at home, and they'll barely cover the spread. So basically, it'll be a field goal, win the game, and they'll win by 2. They'll basically just cover.
Okay. Jalen?
Yeah, I'm going to say I get it, right? Because on paper, Bijan, Drake London, Michael Penix, and, on paper, that looks like a team that can compete with the Bucks. But in reality, if you look at that Falcons defense, maybe I just don't know. Maybe I just don't get it. But on paper, I think the Bucks have a better offense. I also have a better defense. Only thing that's different is that I guess the Bucks are on the road, and I guess the Falcons kind of have the home field advantage in that spread. Now, I don't know if y'all know about the Falcons like I do, but I don't think there's a team known for the home field advantage since Vic was there. Maybe Matt Ryan. Of course, I give Matt Ryan his credit, but even still, divisional foes have walked in there and stepped on him plenty of times before. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks, and that spread is so low, only 1. I'm surprised it's that low. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bucks, and they cover that spread pretty easily. Maybe that new, two first round picks they spill on the edge makes it work in game 1, but I'm gonna go with the Bucks until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I think part of it is because they're at home, but I think also part of it is the fact that they, if I'm not mistaken, they swept Tampa last year with Kirk Cousins at the time. But that's not gonna sway me in this. I'm picking the Buccaneers to win and cover. I have them winning 23-21 in a classic. I think it probably comes down to Atlanta probably trying a 2-point conversion at the end and missing. So that would be my thought there. All right. So the first 4:00 game of the afternoon, we have the Titans and Cam Ward's debut against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are -7.5. We will start with that.
Broncos can win and cover. It shouldn't even be a close game.
All right. Jalen.
Broncos versus who again? I didn't hear the second.
Broncos versus Titans, -7.5. They are in Denver.
Damn, only 7, huh? Damn, that's with the home field advantage spread. I'm gonna go with the Broncos. I really love Cam Ward as a prospect, and I think he's gonna do good things in the league. But going against where many consider probably the league's best defense, if not the best, definitely in the top 3. It's gonna be a tough showing for Cam Ward. Please don't let this game dictate his whole future. I really hope this doesn't destroy his confidence. I'm gonna go with the Broncos here, and they're gonna cover that spread for sure.
All right, CT.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos again. I think it may be a little closer than people expect. So I'm gonna say Broncos 20, Titans 16.
Okay, so you have the Titans cover.
Yes.
All right, so Chris just stole my thunder a little bit here because I also have the Broncos winning and the Titans covering. I think it'll be a backdoor situation. I have the final score being 27-20, so it is very possible that Denver still finds a way to cover.
Damn, y'all got the Titans getting 20 points?
Well, Chris has 16, but
16? Man, that's you guys.
I understand
Maybe
how lethal Denver's defense is. I just think come garbage time, again, kind of like we said with Dallas and Philly, it's just one of those things where you just somehow you put a late touchdown together, and then next thing you know, you're barely covering the spread. So I have the Titans not winning. I have the Denver Broncos winning, and I have the Titans barely covering the spread. Okay, so the next game, another divisional game, one a lot closer to JG's team. We have the 49ers going against Seattle. They're in Seattle, but San Fran has a -2.5 spread. We will start with Jalen.
Yeah, if it was up to me, both teams would lose, but obviously that's not an option. So, gonna go and pick the 49ers. While I like what Mike McDonald had been building in Seattle, especially on the defensive end, that offense is led by Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp and JSN and a new offense coordinator. So I really don't know how to predict that offense, but I do know the 49ers are bringing back good old faithful Robert Saleh to run that defense, and they still have 2 All-Pros on defense and 4 on offense. So going to go with the 49ers for at least game 1. Everybody should be healthy. Now, by week 8, we'll see what the 49ers have on the roster. But Juan Jennings just got paid. I think feelings are feeling good. I'm going to go with the 49ers covering that spread.
All right, Chris?
Real quick. I'm Brian, check your phone.
No, I got
I'm run through the rest of these really quickly. Sorry, viewers, but I gotta get in that.
You got things to do.
And so look, I'm gonna run through all these predictions. I got the Niners, who I also predict will win the NFC West this season. Surprising the world. I got the Niners against the Seahawks. I like the Seahawks. I don't like Sam Darnold. I'm gonna go 27-21. Niners winning it. The next game, I don't mean to expedite the process, so guys, ignore what I'm saying. Don't want me to sway your opinions. I got the Lions over the Packers, 31-28 in a good game. I wish this was prime time, but 4:25 will do. Texans versus Rams, another good game. I got the Rams winning off a game-winning field goal, 24-21. And then finally, Lamar Jackson versus the Buffalo Bills. I got Lamar Jackson winning 27-21.
You got one more.
we got one more
game. You got one more game. Monday night.
Which one?
Bears and
Monday.
Bears, Vikings.
Caleb Williams. The Bears versus Vikings. Caleb Williams, you my guy. J.J. McCarthy's first start as a NFL quarterback. I'm leaning Caleb because that's my guy. Logic says to take the Vikings. But I think Caleb, they almost gotta, start fast. So I'm gonna go with the Bears. 27-20. Bears 27-20. All right.
Before you go, bro, I want to let you know, I promise, you have never persuaded or swayed me any type of way with anything you said football-wise. Love you, though.
Whatever you say. Viewers, remember, love you all. Shout out to SportsFan, man. He's Anthony Richardson's biggest fan, and we'll all see it all come to fruition by week 5. Salute.
That's early.
We appreciate you, Chris. All right, so we will we'll head back to. Wait, what happened, Jalen?
I'm sorry, I would say what game was back on the.
Yeah, so we did. I think we went. Well, let me ask Dad for the 49ers and the Seahawks because I think we didn't get him yet.
Okay.
I'm going to take the 49ers because I live with your mother.
Good pick. I'm just going to say mine just in case I didn't say it already. If I did, then I'll just edit this part out. But I have the Seahawks winning and covering the spread. I have them winning 24-23. just like the next game that we're going to speak about, I think for this one, it's a pick 'em for me, but just because they have home field advantage, I'm picking the Seahawks here. Hopefully I don't get kicked out tonight. Next game we have the Lions and the Packers. I'll just go ahead, like I said before. Oh, Packers minus 2.5 is the spread. I have the Packers winning 28-26. I think this is another game where it comes down to a 2-point conversion. So I have the Packers winning, but I have the Lions barely covering the spread. Dad.
I'm going with the Lions to win outright and to cover. If Mr. Parsons had been in camp a little longer than a week, I would have probably picked the Packers. But he's only going to be in a certain amount of packages, so I'm not worried about it this time. Now, the next time they play, we'll have another conversation.
Honestly, for me, this might have been the toughest game to pick. I believe the Lions on paper are a more talented team. They're definitely loaded on both sides of the ball, especially in the trenches. They have new coordinators, both offensive and defensive. I want to say the old offensive coordinator was not promoted in-house, I believe, or very recently got there. And then on defense, they'll run a very different defense than what they had last year. Aaron Glenn had them running a lot of, man, 2-man, 1-man. I don't believe they'll run as much man as they do, so I'm interested to see how both offensively and defensively what their scheme looks like. I believe the Packers carried over both of their coordinators. And this is the Detroit home game?
Yeah. No. Packers home game.
Okay, that kind of made the pick for it. I'm gonna go with the Packers. Surprisingly, I believe in LaFleur, and I also believe in. I got to make Aaron proud. I want to say their defense coordinator name is
Jeff
Hacklick. Jeff Hacklick. Here, close enough. He's a really good coordinator, and they had the defense kind of clicking with not a lot of good pieces last year. So with Parsons, Rashawn Gary, I'm assuming Parsons plays. You don't really got to know the plays. They're gonna tell him just beat that edge rusher, either make a play or disrupt something, and that should make things happen. It's gonna be definitely. I feel like it's gonna be a close game, maybe not a shootout. So, what was the spread again? Let me hear one more time.
It was Packers minus 2.5.
Ooh, that's close. Okay, I'm gonna say Packers win 31-28.
Yeah, I think this is a game that, like Jalen said, as I said before, it could go either way. Obviously, you have a game record on both sides. The Lions have Aiden Hutchinson coming back, and the Packers have Micah Parsons. So it'll definitely be a fun watch at 4:25. So this game, the next game we're doing is the Texans and the Rams. The Rams are -3. We will start with Jalen.
Will Stafford survive? Will CJ Stroud survive? Honestly, I think the game comes down to which team quarterback can makes the most plays under pressure. And I'm gonna go with CJ Stroud just because Stafford injury wise. I'm interested to see how he reacts when Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter is really in his face, and they're going to get QB hits. I can promise that. So I want to see how those hits stack up over the game. I'm going to go with CJ Stroud, though. I kind of believe in him kind of getting back in his mojo. New offense coordinator, whole new O-line. Not exactly a good O-line, but they're new. So we'll see something there. And Nico Collins will probably take another step forward towards being a dominant wide receiver one that he was doing last year, before, even though he was kind of injured for part of the year.
Yeah, so I agree.
I didn't say they covered the spread. My fault. I believe the Texans will cover the spread.
Oh, that's fine. I'm about to say they're the underdog, so yeah. Same here with Jalen. I have the Texans winning and covering the spread. I have like CT said earlier about the Bucs and the Falcons. I feel like this is your classic Week 1. Scoring output, even though there's questions on both sides. I have them winning 34-31. Like Jalen said, I think at least on the Rams side, it's just about, is Stafford going to be able to hold up or not? That back injury is very concerning to me. But I just think that Houston makes more plays and they find a way to win in LA. Dad.
I'm gonna make it unanimous. I'm the Texans. I'm really concerned about Mr. Stafford, so until I see him play, I can't pick the Rams, and I don't believe you're gonna be able to rely on the run game all game. Texans and Texans went outright.
Okay. All right. So now we move to the Sunday night game. We have the Ravens and the Bills. The Ravens are -1.5. We will start with Dad.
All right, so usually I would probably do this the other way because of certain people we know that like the Ravens, but I think this has got to be the year that these guys represent the AFC. So if they're going to represent the AFC, they got to start it off by winning in Buffalo. So they return to the scene of the crime, and Baltimore wins, and Baltimore covers.
All right, Jalen.
I also believe the same exact thing Senior said. It really comes down to, I think they want to not only avenge their loss, because I know they feel like they were the better team, but also this is the year I feel like if they don't win, uh, major changes will happen. This is a team that's too talented to not yet, be competing for that title. And if you look at the team that eventually won the AFC last year, I feel like the Ravens are better than that team. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I also believe they cover the spread. Also, Lamar just gotta, avenge that fake MVP that Josh Allen got. So I think statement game for the Ravens. They kind of, I don't want to say blowout because the Bills are still a good team, but I don't think it's going to be as close as I guess the spread kind of dictates. I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Yeah, me and Jalen are on the same wavelength here. You got two quarterbacks that are going to play that are probably going to be competing for the MVP again. I think that Lamar is going to want to avenge, obviously, both the loss and the fact that he lost that MVP that I think we all said was a here you go award for Josh Allen, outside of Bills fans, of course. So I have the Ravens winning, but I have the Bills covering. As my final score is 28-27. I don't know if there's a missed kick. I don't know if there's a block kick. I don't know what shenanigans go down. But I have the Ravens winning by 1. So the Bills cover. And we move to the final game of the slate. We have the Vikings and the Bears. The Vikings are -1.5. I'll be quick here. Just Caleb Williams in a new offense going against the Brian Flores defense. Feels like a recipe for a disaster to me. I'm just going to take the Vikings to win outright and to cover the spread. Dad.
Because this is how I'm going to pick it on my sheet. Hopefully it'll be the winning sheet this week. I'm going to take the Bears to win outright. Because of who their coach is, I think he will do enough with Caleb that he can get through the game, and hopefully Caleb listens, they will be fine. So I'm going to take the Bears to win.
All right. And Jalen with the final prediction of the night.
Yeah, very similar to what you were saying, Brian Jr. Brian Flores versus, any young quarterback is always a challenge. I've seen it firsthand. Then another thing is just, I know Ben Johnson's offense has been looked at very highly recently, just based on the output, what the Lions have. I think the major thing a lot of people forgetting, the quarterback of that offense, I know, is Jared Goff. And a lot of people don't look at Jared Goff as a crazy elite quarterback. But as a pocket passer, he's a very smart quarterback. And he's been both with McVay and Ben Johnson now. He's been through a lot of, different, coordinators, and both a lot of just learning experience-wise that Caleb Williams does not have. So, I think it's going to be a little rough for Caleb to start off, and this is definitely a rough opponent versus a team that won 14 games last year. I'm going to go with the Vikings, and I believe they covered that spread.
All right. So this has been the Week 1 preview, brought to you by A Quick Convo with Dad, also collab with Trace Triumph. I'd like to thank Jalen for coming out. Also like to thank CT. Obviously, he has to get up pretty early tomorrow, so that is why he had to get off early. Also like to thank my dad for hopping on this episode as well. Giving his insight and his thoughts. Any final thoughts from either of you before we close?
Quick thoughts from me. I'm just glad football is back. Excited to see it tomorrow and then Friday, and then even outside NFL, there's college football going on. I'm just glad it's back. It was kind of rough. I had to deal with watching the Dodgers lose winnable games. I think we're losing to the Pirates right now. I think we lost them already. So I'm ready for football to be back. I need something else to really entertain me. It was cool to see that Luka lost weight for like a week, but I need some real sports back. So I'm excited.
I second that. I'm glad football is back. 18 weeks of possibilities. Trying to be a very even-keeled Commanders fan. And I will just say, as far as MVP, if Cincinnati had a defense, then Joe Burrow would have been MVP last year.
Maybe if they beat the Patriots, there's another conversation right there. Which is why winning in Week 1 is so important. All right, so as we have said before, this is another collaboration episode, as you've seen. For those that may be listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, feel free to rate us and leave a review for a quick convo with Dad. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you for tuning in as well. For the quick convo with Dad listeners, be prepared because we may be doing a WNBA playoff preview next week, so just be prepared for that. So we'll talk about that we'll promote that at a later date for sure. But this has just been another episode of Quick On with Dad, collaborating with Trace Triumph under Western Play Productions. I'm Brian Jr. For Brian Sr. and Jalen. We'd like to thank you all for listening, and stay tuned for the next play.